Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. Today I wanted to sit down and look at the support meta. It's changed quite a bit again with buffs to Moira and Brigitte's rework. I'm sitting down with KarQ, who is a very strong player on the likes of Ana, Zenyatta and basically all of the other supports to talk about why, as a whole, the role is in the best spot that it's been in, but most importantly, who are the best supports to play in role lock? Just as a PSA, this interview was recorded before the recent Moira change that reverted the fact that she can fade out of abilities. She can no longer do that, and thus she's not very good in the eyes of KarQ. You can find all of KarQ's details in the description below, but let's get started. So this is not an easy question to answer. I'm going to start with that one, but with role queue being a thing, you having two supports to pick in a lineup, what are the best two supports to run together right now, do you think?
Based on these new changes, it's still early to speculate. I'd still say a solid support combo that is reliable in a lot of compositions is the Ana Mercy, right? If you run Ana Mercy, you can opt for, Pharah, so the Mercy stays attached while Ana heals the rest of your team. You are safe to run, sometimes even Rein Zarya. You don't need, on defense, if you don't need the speed boost as much on King's Row, I've seen the Ana Mercy combo. Ana Mercy works great with dive still, so those are the solid backbone two heroes. I know you don't have a defensive ultimate, but as the game has evolved, defensive ultimates have been traditionally used less and less to counter ultimates and more for tempo and aggressive, team fight winning usages, so they're not as necessary in this day and age. Still good, but, like I said, just for a solid backbone, those are the two you can go to.
You sort of mentioned there defensive ultimates. I'm sort of looking at the Lucio and Zenyatta, they're heroes that haven't been nerfed specifically, but with all of the heroes having their ult charge rate having to go up a little bit, meaning that it takes longer to get ultimates.
Yeah, exactly.
How much of an impact does it have on those two heroes? Because they were already kind of struggling, I feel, in 2-2-2 anyway, because both of them were nerfed with their synergy with Goat's comp. That the use of Discord Orb, that was reduced. Lucio speed boost, that was reduced because of Goat's comp. Now that that's no longer a thing, it feels that those nerfs have really put them in a jeopardized position. And with the ult changes added on, does it seem like a good time to be playing Zen Ana right now? Zen Lucio, sorry.
Like you said, yeah, they were nerfed because of goats, so they are a bit rougher to play in 2-2-2. I wouldn't say not to play them because other than defensive ults, they still have a lot of utility. Speed boost is still great, Discord's great. Zenyatta has that fragging capability, but arguably so, because of those nerfs with goats specifically, they are a bit weaker to play outright in support combos, in support combinations in the backline, so I wouldn't say don't learn them because they might make a change to it soon, but I'd say if you want a more reliable choice, Ana Mercy, Ana Brig Mercy, those are some good ones to go with right now.
We've gone over Brig a lot potentially in another video, but where would you rate her when it comes to the other supports, right? Because if I go on the list of the heroes that we have right now, there's a lot of options that you can run currently, like Baptiste, Mercy, even Moira and Brigitte at this point. Where would you rate who at this point? Who's your S tier and who's the not very good options right now?
I'd say S tier right now is still Ana Mercy, and I'd say A tier is Brig. A tier is still Brig.
Really?
And
you
then
rate it that highly?
I really do, just based on my experience with her on the PTR. I have seen the Moira Brig, and Moira Brig was so hard to beat on 2CP. I don't even think I beat it. Or when we ran Moira Brig 2 on defensive 2CP, we did not get destroyed. We destroyed them. It's actually insane how powerful it can be and the potential it has. However, I wouldn't say Lucio and Zen or whatever are below A tier because in specific compositions they just suddenly rise up to A or even S tier.
So it must be a really good support meta then, where all of the supports are S-A tier.
Yeah, genuinely, it's all the supports have their place and their role in the game right now.
I think, generally speaking, like you said, all of the supports are good in very specific situations. However, in a very overall sense, are there any support duos that you wouldn't recommend? Because some are really good at healing, some are really good at utility. having too much of the same thing could be difficult for your team, right? So are there any support duos that you'd go, whilst both of these heroes are strong in their own right, they're not very good together?
I'd say Lucio Zen right now with this current iteration of them. I know Lucio Zen used to be run with Classic Dive maybe 2.5 years ago, but this is before Lucio's aura changed, got smaller. Discord Orb was a bit more stronger at that time. So, and both those heroes are stronger back in the past, and right now I don't see any reason to run them together. Double defensive vault, maybe a little bit of diminishing returns, and like you said earlier, global ultimate costs are 12% more now. So they take longer to build. And that old classic Lucio Zen dive was before that first global ultimate change was made too. So I think there have been 2 patches where they have increased global ultimate charge, right? This one recently, and then there was one in the past. And I do believe that was the old Lucio Zen was played before that initial one too. So, at this point, I wouldn't recommend running those 2 supports together.
Are there any others that spring to mind?
I haven't tested enough Brig Lucio or Brig Zen. My first immediate gut reaction is it's going to be low healing output, but, I may be totally wrong. People are going to figure out a way to get so much value out of Brigitte that it's virtually, aura central. You just have Lucio, Brig, Lucio on amping heals, Brig with Inspire always going, Brig throwing a couple armor packs around her team, and then they're just suddenly just regenerating like crazy. So...
do you have any general rule of thumbs then with how you would like to put together a support lineup? Because we kind of went over Lucio Zen, too much utility, not enough healing. Is that generally how you try and do it? You try and pair up a support that has a high healing output, like Ana, Baptiste, Mercy, Moira, with one that's more utility based? I think a lot of support players would want to know how to work that out, for themselves.
A safe option is yes. Usually you have one healer that is reliable in with a lot of healing output. So Ana fits in a lot of comps because she can reliably heal a lot more than, let's say, a Zen Harmony Orb. People will go well, I have gold healing a Zen, but your Zen Harmony Orb is 30 HP per second on a single target the whole time. The reason why you get, big healing numbers is probably because you transcended against a grab dragon, which inflates your healing by 3,000 in 10 seconds because you just out healed a lot. But generally speaking, outside of those transcendence 10 seconds or 8 seconds, however long trance is, your healing output is quite low, and it's mostly discord and utility and your damage output. So a safe option would be to pair a strong quote unquote main healer with a utility one, or just run 2 strong main healers and a Mercy, and then kind of use more utility because you have your Mercy. Just like you said, how you can pretty much categorize Ana in both, right? You can have Mercy just do all the utility and just pocket the Pharah and just damage boost. That's utility Mercy. Or you can have Mercy kind of do a lot of the healing, and then now your Ana is free to anti-nade and go for aggressive sleep darts because she doesn't have to worry about defensively nading. So it all depends on how you look at it. Safe option is 1 main, 1 off, or 2 mains.
How would you rate Baptiste? Because there's so many other good options right now. Even Brigitte and Moira coming up a little bit. Baptiste is often overlooked, I feel. What do you think of him? Do you think he's surprisingly good, or not very good, or whatever?
I think he's surprisingly good. I don't know how much you see him in your games, but I see him quite a bit. Every other game I'll see a Baptiste run because Bunker is very meta, and Baptiste is great with your teammates that clump together. The healing output is insane, if not higher. That utility of Immortality Field is fantastic when you run it with the Bastion or to use it to keep people alive. And that ultimate, that utility of that, can catch people off so much. I find myself using it for myself. Unless I'm specifically comboing with somebody, I use it for myself and just poke Orisa shields.
I imagine he'd still get his ultimate a lot, even with the ultimate changes that we had.
Oh yeah, previous without the global ultimate charge change, I would get Baptiste ult in, I could get it in 15 seconds if I can get a good Immortality Field off and just keep pumping out the clumped healing. So with that change, Baptiste still gets his ultimate very often. I'd say use it very proactively and use it to shield break. That's what I've been doing against Orisa mirrors. If I run Baptiste, I can build my ultimate super fast, and if I build my ultimate, I'll just cast it, and then I'll shoot the enemy Orisa shield, and then it does, I think, 150. Because right now, Baptiste with 3 body shots does 75, I believe. So with the ultimate, it immediately does 150. I just shoot it like boom, 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 super fast, along with some teammates firing at it. It breaks, and then I can kill that Orisa so fast because she doesn't expect it.
There's going to be a lot more players, I think, specifically focusing on playing support just because of the new role queue system. What advice do you have for those that maybe wanted to really get serious about their support play?
If you're playing Overwatch just to have fun, then that's something else. But if you're playing to objectively climb in ranked competitive, playing aggressively is undoubtedly better than playing a passive kind of style. Because playing aggressively, you play make, you're making more space, you're adding more threats and more attention to the enemy and taking attention away from your DPS and tanks, and you're able to actually control the tide of the game and change, you know, your win rate from 50% to like 55. That 55-45 edge is all you need to climb. Because if you are playing a very backline passive Ana and you're just strictly throwing defensive nades and just healing, I mean, you might as well play the new Moira because she just heals more in the backline if you think about it that way. But you're not utilizing enough utility and enough of your support strength if you don't play aggressively. But obviously there's a fine line between playing aggressive and feeding. You've got to play aggressive enough to be impactful and draw attention away from your teammates, but not feed. So I use the example as with Mercy, because traditionally people say, yeah, Mercy, you got to play super defensive, play very safe. But the best Mercies I've seen are the ones that fly in with their DPS in the front line, and then obviously the enemy team's like, oh my god, Mercy's here, focus her, but then the really amazing Mercies just super jump, and then they do some crazy maneuvers, fly up, fly left, fly right, lateral movement, then fly back out, and they actually live. And what that Mercy did right there is just create so much space and threats, because she just drew like the attention of 3 enemies onto that Mercy alone, and it allowed that, you know, the DPS that the Mercy was pocketing to do whatever he or she needed. It allowed the tanks to not have their shield pressured. So, you know, aggressive and calculated, but not feeding. That's the way to go for supports if you want to climb. If once you fully understand how to, you know, play your support hero defensively and play safe, you should also look to consider when to be aggressive, and that's just going to change your approach to supports and convert you from a, you know, 50% win rate to a 55-60% win rate kind of support player.
100% win rate support player.
Oh yeah,
we know you
in
can
a perfect
do it.
world. Oh god.
I guess finally then, where can people see more of you? It seems like you're going to be making a lot of YouTube content around this too, of like, because it's a very exciting time, and no doubt there's going to be a lot of small people wanting to learn heroes that they may never have considered, such as Brigitte or even Moira. So where can people find more of you?
People can find me at twitch.tv/KarQ. I stream 5 days a week. Mostly support, but I had a lot of fun playing role queue yesterday. I placed higher on DPS than support, so yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's just nice. If I feel like taking a break from support, I can just lock it or just queue in, and nobody can really flame because they queued in for a different role, and you know, it's not anything they didn't expect. So. But yeah, you can find me there and on YouTube at youtube.com/KarQGames.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. I wanted to sort of take a step back away from the new hero and all that stuff to sort of go over the new support meta and who you should be playing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do definitely check out KarQ if you haven't already. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.